You meet a man and marry him, who, Richard Hamlett, you're married now, he's very special. You almost didn't do it.
No, because you become frightened after 2 failed marriages, and you date and you look around and you say, this is silly. I mean, I'm fine on my own because I'm mature now, I'm at peace now, I have a little house now, I have a condo in Vegas and I have a little house in LA. And I look after my mother and my brother lives with me and everything's fine, it's peaceful. Why do I want to go and have, you know, tumult in my life, problems in my life
But
at
he
my
insisted,
age?
didn't he?
Yes, well, I had a date with this man. I mean, he wanted me to marry him on the first date. I said, I'm sure I can find you a home. You're a very nice. I'll sign you in myself.
Huh?
You shouldn't be out on the streets. You're much too attractive. You must go home right now to your mommy. He said, why are you so against marriage? I said, look, I'm not against marriage. I think marriages are wonderful. My mother and daddy were married 56 years. I'm for marriage. Happy marriage. I don't want to be with anyone at this point at all in any which way. So we can date. He said, no, because if we just date, I love you. I've always loved you since Tammy. I just didn't know you. Now I know you, and you're nuts, but I love you. I said, you're nuts because you can't love me in one date. You just get out of my life. Anyway, we had another date, and and he was so cute. How could you resist him? He's so cute.
He's in real estate.
And he didn't want us to just be together. He said, no, if we're separated so much and your work and my work, we'll never make it. If we're not married, because the commitment is what is important, the love and the commitment. Of course, he's dead right. So we're now married 4 years. He's just a terrific man. I'm always waiting for everything that's wonderful. When life gets too good, like my life is so happy now, and I don't say I don't work hard. I don't say I still don't have some problems and debts and things to look after, but basically my life hasn't been this happy since I left home at 22.
Don't tell me you're looking over your shoulder waiting for it to all end.
I always get very nervous when it gets so happy. I keep thinking, well, what's going to, what, you know. So I pray a lot. I am religious, so I'm very
Does that help get
blessed.
you through a lot of
Oh,
this?
absolutely. Oh, gosh. I don't know how anybody doesn't have a philosophy of feeling that there is someone that is so wise and the words are so good, you know, to do unto others. Well, I just think if every day, imagine if everybody every day woke up and said, what can I do for one other person? The world would have no problems.
Absolutely.
Well, that's not a bad philosophy.
Turning things over to a higher power is a very important part of getting well if you are abusing anything. And you went through that with Carrie, didn't you, with drug abuse. What did that do to you as a mother?
Well, Carrie had a lot of they were prescription drugs, and I wasn't aware of it, and she wasn't aware of it becoming a problem. Then when it was a problem, she was able to handle it with my son, the two of them. She really didn't, you know, pull me into it as much. I was aware of it and frightened. Parents are lonely. Parents are out of it. The individual has to do it. The child has to do it. You have to just try to get them to go to a clinic, get them to go to a special place where there are people that have experienced the same problem. If you can get them there, that's the important thing, with their own peers, with people that have that problem. You as a parent, everything you say is going to be wrong, so.
She's married to Paul Simon. In fact, didn't she marry the same year you married Richard?
No.
Or close?
Oh, no. Carrie is not married to Paul Simon now. Carrie was married to Paul Simon, and they still are the dearest of friends. She adores him, he adores her. But there was a problem there, 2 careers and all that. I don't discuss that because that's
her life.
Carrie's life. And she's just so fabulous, you know, because her problems are 4 years ago. She's written a fabulous new novel called Postcards from the Edge, which she just won the PEN Award, which is a literary award.
Very special.
And you know, I mean, I just admire her so much that she has pulled herself up, and she's this courageous, wonderful, funny child. And she's not a child, she's a woman. She's my child.
Talk about your videos. Do it Debbie's way, and now you've got Richard, your husband, stretching. Do it. The couples do it Debbie's way?
I know, and Richard has no rhythm at all. You know, he claps like this. 1, 2, and when he's marching, trying to march in step, he was, see, look at him. He was in the Navy. He's not, that's Tom Bosley and his lovely wife,
Dick Van Patten?
Dick Van Patten and his lovely wife, Pat. Look at who can march out of meter. I never saw anything like that. But he tried, you know. They felt that there was a need for men that were out of shape and that weren't good at athletics now Dick Van Patten plays a lot of tennis, but he doesn't stretch and he doesn't do the things to keep your waist in and your little rear end in and stuff like that.
And that's important.
It is,
yeah.
and your cardiovascular, you know, it's very important to do. It's boring, but that's why I did the tape.
You're here because you want to connect with women, and that's what you say this book is all about. I'm sure that so many women watching us today in this conversation have heard little fragments of their own lives. What would parting words be to women watching? What have you learned?
I think never to give up. Keep your sights way ahead. Don't think about it today because you can't make it today. It's too impossible. It's too overwhelming. It's too devastating. You will give up, and you will become lost. So you must keep thinking like I used to think always, that I was at the front of the tunnel and there was the middle of the tunnel and at the end there was a light. And that light, I could get to that light. I could keep fighting inch by inch by inch. And with God's help and belief in yourself, you can make it. Never give up because there is a brighter tomorrow. Look at me, I'm never happier.
And common sense when it comes to finances.
You have to stay very, very practical with yourself. You know, don't get panicked. Don't sign any power of attorneys and be knowledgeable about your own business. Do learn something, and if there's a mortgage to be signed, be aware of what it is and know that you're going to have to pay it off. And can you? If your husband has a heart attack tomorrow, is he insured? Are certain things taken care of? Do you know where any of these papers are? Do you really? Or just leaving it up to your husband? What if something happened to him? Yeah. Look, it happened to Doris Day. I mean, her husband died and she knew nothing. Everything was wiped out. The lawyer had everything. $30 million gone. She had to start all over in her 50s. And only luckily was she in a series, and her son helped her, and she has not a lot. But she's all right, just like I'm all right. I mean, we're not rich, we're all right. But I mean, imagine an awful lot went down the drain because we weren't, you know, we thought, well, they'll handle it. Well, they won't. They will and they won't. You should handle it.
That's right.
Be aware. Just be aware of it. You don't have to become tough. You don't have to become a guy. You can be a feminine woman. I'm a feminine woman. Now I'm a little smarter. And I think for that, I'm happier.